Shall we stop this bleeding?
This is Sophia Savage with Indiewire, and we are here for the closing night film of AFI FEST 2012 Lincoln. We're going to talk to the stars as they come up the red carpet.
We had just finished making Munich, and I was really excited to work with Steven again, but the subject matter was really overwhelming, and I was not sure that I could do it, and it took me about 2 or 3 months to make up my mind, and he waited, and I'm glad he did. It's been a life-changing experience.
Steven Spielberg so beautifully defined this time and place, and what this country was faced with and what Lincoln was faced with, which was so overwhelming, and yet his insistence. I think he realized that the end of this war required the Union to be whole, or it was going to be war forever. But more importantly, the end of the Civil War, without the passage of the 13th Amendment, was going to mean that there was just going to be another one, and then another one, and then another one.
I play Clay Hawkins, who is a congressman faced with the decision whether or not to vote for the 13th Amendment. And morally, he's on the right side of the history, even though his life was kind of in danger at the time. He sacrificed, like everybody else. And it was an extraordinary thing to be a part of. You know, I feel like I'm a part of kind of living history, you know, and kind of making this movie, and I think we all do. You know, it's something much bigger than every actor here, except maybe for Daniel, because it's really about him.
The day that we all showed up on the first day of filming and Daniel came out as Lincoln was absolutely overwhelming.
I didn't really meet him as himself until after the movie was done. Working with Abraham Lincoln was very fun. It was really fun to work with Abraham Lincoln. Yeah.
When the day came in as Lincoln, he never drops character, and to some extent the dynamic of the room when he walks in sort of jumps up a little bit, and then everybody kind of has to be on their best behavior.
It was the most unbelievable experience I think I've ever had as an actor, simply because working with him, it rejuvenates all of the respect that you should give your craft, because you realize how far this guy goes. And walking on the set every day was like walking into a Sistine Chapel or something. It was like that reverence. It was amazing. And he never comes out of it. He never comes, I mean, if we small talk in between the scene, you're small talking as your character. So I was saying, finally I got to meet Daniel because I only knew Abraham Lincoln.
You're dealing with an icon. They respected him completely. And so every little thing, like down to his pocket knife and the pencils that he sharpens, and you know, every little thing.
I grew up, you know, running around cannons and playing in Bloody Lane and pretending to be Johnny Reb storming the Union lines across the cornfield.
I know that they wanted to hold the movie off to come out after the election. They were very clear they didn't want it to be politicized. But I feel like it's sort of a perfect answer to this campaign, because the movie is a lot about how people can't be brought together. You know, how fiercely unwilling people are to find a common ground, and how this man worked ceaselessly to bring some sort of compromise about.
Are you happy the election is over?
I am happy that the election is over and my man won.
I'm so happy the election is over.
I'm happy the elections are over, and I'm happy that the elections went the way they went.
I am so happy it's over, and I'm so happy the way it turned out.
And is there anyone you would back in 4 years' time?
Ron Paul.
Hillary Clinton's a possibility. I would be open to seeing that.
Oh my God, this just ended. How could you ask me that question?
Well, she's not of my gender, I can tell you that.
Daniel Day-Lewis, as long as he would just be Lincoln.
Euclid's first common notion is this: things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other. That's a rule of mathematical reasoning. It's true because it works. Has done and always will do. In his book, Euclid says this is self-evident. You see, there it is, even in that 2,000-year-old book of mechanical law. It is a self-evident truth that things which are equal to the same thing are equal to each other.
Hit the red carpet at AFI FEST 2012 with Indiewire. Devin Faraci bellies up for a martini with 3 fellow critics to decide which Bond is the greatest. Phil Gower decides to take his love of Twilight to the streets, determined to be first in line. His love of Twilight is twi-hard and will not die. Devin Faraci takes you on a behind-the-scenes tour of Universal Studios and gives you insight into the creation and locations that birthed some of the greatest monster movies of all time. J.B. Smoove and his buddy Garfield give us the lowdown on the new Robert Zemeckis film Flight, even though they haven't seen it. Wreck-It Ralph's John C. Reilly, Jane Lynch, Jack McBrayer, and director Rich Moore get put through the ringer by Jesse Miller.